Right, so I'm back again today with an Exodus video. Today's a little different. I'm going to be doing the top 5 cards from set 1, Birth of Creation. This is a completely subjective list, but I think my choices are validated and we will start now. So, at number 5, we have Invoke. A simple effect, you take 1 energy from your energy deck and you use it to start a new pile on the field. So it's a very good card. It can give you like it can give you that extra energy for your Forerunner plays, to summon an extra creature for that little bit extra damage. It can be used to summon a creature to have that little bit of extra defense. Very basic, very simple card. The reason I put it at number 5 is it's kind of being power crept out by a new card in set 6 called Atlas Ablaze. It essentially does everything Invoke does, but more, as it starts a new pile, and if you choose a creature on your field, and for every rarity star it has below 3, you get an extra energy, so it can sometimes act as a triple invoke. And it's also Treeforge complex proof, as when this card's revealed, it is treated as a creature and not a symmetry. So you could run both alongside each other, but I can't see any reason you'd play Atlas Ablaze over Invoke anymore. But still, when it came out, a very strong card. At number 4, we have Leech. What Leech does is you target an energy on your opponent's side of the field from a creature or pile, and you basically steal it. So you get rid of their energy, 1, and you then you choose a pile or a creature on your field and give that 1 energy. Still a very good card, still pretty strong, and it can really mess up your opponent. It isn't as needed as it used to be, as getting a lot of energy on field is a lot faster and a lot easier than it used to be. So simply destroying 1 energy isn't as strong as it used to be, but still a very good card and a good option. And then at number 3, we have Unsummon. It's a pay 1 energy, target 1 creature on the field, and return it to the owner's hand and destroy all energy attached. I think Unsummon is still a very strong card. It can be devastating against the new Drifter archetype, as it essentially destroys their entire stack. It can be used to disrupt a lot of plays. It can stop your opponent from rebuilding at a crucial point. It can be used to mess up Hailfire plays. A well-timed Unsummon can really disrupt your opponent for an entire turn and make them have to reconsider their entire strategy for that 1 turn. And for just a 1 cost energy symmetry, it is very strong still today. I had considered putting Reversion on this list, which is it's a free Unsummon that doesn't destroy the energy, so you can also use it on your own creatures to protect them without losing the energy. But I find destroying a creature on a lot of energy and then also getting rid of all that energy is a lot of advantage you can generate at the simple cost of 1 of your own energy. And I think now that Archive are a thing, I think Unsummon might start seeing more play than it did in set 5. But I guess we'll see where the future leads with it. At number 2, we have Chains. A bit controversial. I think some people would put Unsummon and even maybe stuff like Leech in front of Chains, but it's probably my favourite card from set 1. And all Chains does is if you play it in your turn, your opponent can't attack you for that turn, and if you play it in your opponent's turn, if you play it in your turn, your opponent can't attack you in their next turn, and if you play it in your opponent's turn, they cannot attack you with that turn. And that's all it does. It stays on the field until it's resolved and then goes to the graveyard. But in a game where every turn you draw 3 main deck cards and 3 energy cards, which is the equivalent of a starting hand, drawing that every turn, just having 1 change successfully stop your opponent from attacking, gives you it gives you the possibility to completely turn the game in your favour. It completely buys you a turn, which is incredible. And I found nobody really plays it anymore. Now that we've started seeing more archetype based cards like the Hailfire and Brimstone, Crossfire formula, and the more combo centric plays, change seems to have fallen off. Like the archive creatures, they all have their free library searches. Again, the Hailfire cards have theirs. Machines have stuff like Canyon of Secrets. It's become not so much a less needed card, but more of a harder to fit in the deck card, given the 20 card decks. Given the fact that the decks are 20 cards, they can be as many as you want, but people try to stay as close to 20. So fitting a change in can be much harder than it used to be. But I think if this room, you cannot go wrong with a chains. If you can successfully buy yourself one turn, even in an advantage, even if you're in the better situation than your opponent, it becomes a win more card. But if you're in a bad situation, it becomes a I might be able to turn this game around card. I still pretty much run it in every single deck I build, and I really enjoy chains, and that's number 2. And then finally at number 1, I don't think anybody would not know this one. Vortex. Pay 1 energy, both players discard their hands, both players draw 3 cards from the main deck. Using Vortex at the end of your opponent's draw phase means they discard their whole hand, draw 3 main deck cards, but have no energy for that entire turn. So using Vortex on turn 1 sometimes is a good enough play by itself that your opponent cannot recover from it. It's even now, any single deck, even the new ones, can play Vortex, and it is absolutely devastating if you use it at the right time and you can't respond to it. There are cards now like the set 6 repel from the Fort Stream. It's that is a good counter to Vortex. You have stuff like Forerunner, which can negate it. You have stuff like Sands of the Broken Timepiece and Crystal Coals, what can delay it. But even still, even with all that, a well-timed Vortex can win you a game on its own. And I have lost many games to my opponent using a Vortex turn 1 and me having no response to it as it was owning my starting hand. And then that gives your opponent, because if without energy, you're pretty limited on your plays. So a lot of the time, if you get turn 1 Vortex, you pass the turn straight back to your opponent, but it gives them 3 more energy and 3 more main deck cards. So they have 12 cards to your 3 main deck cards, and that can almost just stop you from being able to recover at all. So for that reason, Vortex takes number 1. So you got Vortex at number 1, Chains at number 2, and Summon at number 3, Leech at number 4, and Invoke at number 5. If you have a different opinion or you have a different list, feel free to comment down in the comments, and thank you for watching.